Imagine becoming the most powerful woman in the United States, a first for girls, for young women, and for women everywhere, something that's never happened before. And to commemorate that moment, a magazine decides to put you in sneakers on their cover. Find out why everyone's angry about the photo, up next. Hey guys, it's Katie from Without a Crystal Ball. Welcome back to my channel. All right, so there's some big news coming up. On January 20th, we are going to be breaking the glass ceiling. This is a big moment for women of color, and just for equality everywhere, because for a first in our nation's history, a woman will be occupying the second highest position in the United States federal government. That's right, Kamala Harris is set to become the first female vice president who is actually also a woman of color. Her parents are from Jamaica and India. Now, in celebration of her humongous accomplishment, whether you're a Democrat or a Republican, this is a big day. Vogue decided to give her the cover and celebrate. The magazine was supposed to pay homage to her journey in becoming the vice president of the United States. Now, initially, people were pretty excited about this, but then the cover dropped. And now outrage has been sparked all over social media. I saw it starting on Saturday night when a couple journalists I followed began talking about it, and I started to wonder what the fuss was. Well, initially I noted that the cover in which they planned to put out, Vogue, had her in sneakers and dressed super casually behind a kind of messy pink backdrop that looked like she had just been plopped down there with some poor lighting. Hardly a look at me moment or a powerful moment that many of us would have expected from Vogue. So Kamala apparently had not expected this to be the actual cover in which she was supposed to be on. In fact, she and her team apparently had agreed to a completely separate cover of her in a powdered blue suit with her hands crossed across her chest against a yellow gold background. All right, so what actually happened and why is everyone upset? So according to Yashir Ali, who is a journalist that does freelance work for multiple outlets, he broke the news on January 9th on Saturday evening, and it said the February Vogue cover featuring Vice President-elect Kamala Harris has been widely criticized on social media this evening. But according to a source familiar with the publication plans, this is not the cover that the Vice President-elect's team expected. Apparently, when they did this, it says in the cover that was expected, the Vice President-elect Harris was wearing a powder blue suit. That was the cover that the Vice President-elect's team and the Vogue team, including Anna Wintour, mutually agreed upon, which is a standard for fashion magazines. To be clear, this Vogue cover of Vice President-elect Kamala Harris is real. It's just that, per a source familiar with it, it is not the cover that was mutually agreed upon. The agreed upon cover had her in a different outfit. So folks are feeling blindsided this evening. So it's kind of confusing here. If Anna Wintour had basically promised that she would be in this blue suit, which, by the way, if you look at the two images, they are not at all, I don't know. If you look at the two images, she's beautiful in both. What I don't like about the second image, which is actually with her behind the pink backdrop, is that she's very far off. Her face is kind of blurry, her hands cupped over her stomach, and she's standing in a position which, I don't know, it doesn't feel like powerful. It feels like we're gonna go see her at the Mets game, or we're gonna go hang out at her house. Now, she wore this sort of attire on the campaign trail, and Vogue says that they picked this cover because they felt that it matched the personality that they got to know of her while they were sitting down interviewing her. But if you look at the photo that she expected, this, I believe, would be a more presidential pose or a more powerful pose. Not to mention the lighting is better. She doesn't look as washed out, and the backdrop is not sloppy. What bothers me about this pink one is that the pink taffeta or the pink silk, whatever that is, it's bunched up. It looks awkward. The lighting is not good to me. And the second photo, or the other cover with the blue, it just looks more polished and professional. So apparently the photo actually got switched out at the very last minute. And Vogue says that they went with the more informal image of her for the cover because the photo captured her authentic, approachable nature, which we feel is one of the hallmarks of the Biden-Harris administration. They also said that both images would be released on digital magazines to respond to the seriousness in this moment of history and the role she has to play leading our country forward. But on social media, people were mad. And I actually can't really blame them. And here's what people on Twitter had to say about it. A photographer made a few comments and she said this: "This is a weak shot. A lot of people have complained about the backdrop, but it could absolutely work if it was used correctly. Here, not so much. The pose is unflattering. She looks uncomfortable, and the angle of the photograph is unsophisticated, and the lighting is poorly done. The editing is also not up to par. I can't speak to whether the skin lightening issue is from the shoot or the post, but the HSL values were not properly adjusted for her skin tone during the edits. Every photo editor at Vogue should know that basics of editing photos of people of color. None of this is a criticism of the photographer. I would never claim to be the at the shooting a Vogue cover level, but I still consider this as an outtake if I shot it, or at least shot to be used within the editorial piece, not the cover." Another person said this: "So my father, grandfather, and great-grandfather were photographers and grew up in my grandfather's darkroom. The Vogue cover is horribly lit. The backdrop is lazy and in a color meant to wash out her beautiful skin tone. The VP-elect is a gorgeous woman," and then she put a Time and Elle cover. And if you look at the photos of Time and Elle, the photos are beautifully done. The backdrops are a lot more professional, and you really aren't distracted by sort of that weird fashion motif that they were going for, or the vibe they were going for Vogue. Another person said, "The most powerful woman in America, who is also the most photogenic, and you put this garbage image. There's no way that this was done by accident. We see you, Vogue." Another person said, "Can Anna Wintour explain why she chose what looks like a lighting test photo as the cover for the first female vice president in US history? Kamala is a literally movie star gorgeous, and I've never seen Vogue publish something this amateurish. It needs to be fixed." Another one wrote, "Anna Wintour needs to go. If the only time her team can properly style a black woman is when she's covered in couture, then her tenure has ran its course. Look at how Kamala Harris, an Elle cover, straight up bodied Vogue electric chair." Another person said, "Here are 4 images of Kamala Harris that I had saved in my phone that are better than the Vogue cover. I'd say something about how women who exude power in ways that aren't traditionally read as feminine get played in the media, and that's true, but also tops deserve better." Some of the people on Twitter just felt like Anna really missed the mark on this one and really feel like she was disrespected because they made this change without telling her. And in this specific situation, like, I can understand an editor making a change at the last minute and deciding, okay, this is what the cover is going to be. When you're dealing with the most powerful woman in the world, and this magazine, the cover, will be a keepsake for many people in the years to come, and this is the photo that you put because this is the one that you're going to mail to people's homes, I can see why they would be upset, because her team had agreed with the editors, this is what they're going to do, and Anna decided otherwise. Now, I have no idea if they will actually fire Anna for making this decision. I don't really know much about that aspect of it. I do find it utterly disrespectful to go against your word and to make a choice off the fly like that. I also find the specific photo to be terrible, and I can see why people feel like it's a jab at her, as though, you know, if this were a white woman, maybe she would have been treated differently. And I also don't understand why they would pick such a lazy backdrop and why the lighting would be so bad. I mean, this is her moment. This is her time. I don't like the picture. I like the yellow one better. Obviously, the other ones through Time and Elle, I think, are better pictures altogether. And I also don't think either picture really exemplify who she is as a human, but as who she is as a woman. So I can see why people are frustrated. I can see why people would not like this cover, and I can also see why this is kind of a slap in the face to Kamala and her team. But do you think it extends as far as Anna is racist and Anna should lose her job? Tell me what your thoughts are in the comments below. Bye, guys.